We want to begin today's class proper, and we're going to start with a question, still WAEC past question. This is number one. The question says, given that 103 base 3 or 102 base 3 plus 10 base y is equal to 43 base 5, find the value of y. This is number base. Number base is an aspect of mathematics that deals with simplification or presentation of figure with different platform. Number base is like languages that people speak. For instance, we might have a language like Indian language, Japanese language, Ghanaian language. So whenever a Japanese is talking, a Ghanaian might not be able to understand what Japanese is speaking. The same thing, if an Indian is talking, a Ghanaian might not be able to understand, or a Japanese might not be able to understand. So numbers can also be presented with different platforms or different languages. Now let's have an example. Here is a question here. 103 base 3 is a language. It is only number that are in base 3 that can understand this language. Then there is another one, 10 base y is another language. It's only figure or numbers that are in base y that can understand this language. Then we have 43 base 5. This is another language. It is only numbers that are written in base 5 that will be able to understand this language. But there is a common language which is general, that every figure or everybody can understand, and that language is British English or American English. So based on that, whenever you are given questions in number base, different bases mean different languages. So you have to convert first and foremost to a common language or a general language that everybody understands. And that general language is base 10. Base 10 is the common language that everybody understands, which is similar to British English or American English. Now let's see how we can convert 102 base 3 to base 10, because that is the language that everybody understands. So 102 to be converted to base 10 would go this way. 1 multiplied by 3 plus, I take this one multiplied by 3 plus is 0 multiplied by 3 plus 2 multiplied by 3. 2 multiplied by 3. The first 3 here, which is the last 3 here, will carry power of 0. The next 3 carry power of 1. The other 3 carry power of 2. It goes in that order from 0 to 1, 1 to 2. If it is more than this, that is how it continues. So we now proceed and say this is 102 base 3, which is now to be converted to base 10. This is the process of conversion to base 10. 3 raised to power 2 is 9. 9 times 1, that is 9. Plus 3 raised to power 1 is 3. 3 times 0, that's 0. Plus 3 raised to power 0 is 1. 1 times 2, and that is 2. Eventually we have 9 plus 2. 9 plus 0 plus 2 gives us 11 base 10. 11 base 10. That means this language, which is in base 3, is now being converted to another common general language, which is now in base 10. So it is 11. 11. 102 base 3 is same thing as 11 in base 10. Now let's look at how we can convert this one now to base 10, which is general language. We have 10 base y. We are going to convert this one to base 10. we're going to say 1 times y. 1 multiplied by y plus 0 multiplied by y. 0 times y. Now the first y carries 0, just like this. The next y carries 1, just like this. So there is no any other y again after this. So we proceed by saying y raised to power 1 is y. Y times 1, it gives us y. This is y raised to power 0, it is 1. Any number raised to power 0 is 1. 1 times 0, it gives us 0. So here is going to be y. Y times 0, it gives us 0. So here is going to be y. Y plus 0 is y, base 10. So 10 base y is going to be the same thing as y base 10. This is the general language that everybody speaks, which is British or American English. Now let us convert 43 base 5 also to base 10, which is the general language everybody understands. We have 43 base 5. To convert this one to base 10, we are going to say 4 times 5. 4 times 5 plus 3 times 5. The first 5 carries 0, just like this and this. The next 5 carries 1, just like this and this. There is no any other 5 again, so we stop at this point. We now have any number raised to power 0 is 1. 1 times 3, that is 3. Any number raised to power 1 is that number. 5 times 4, that gives us 20. And the final answer is going to be 20 plus 3, that is 23. 23 base 10. That means 43 in base 5, which is a different language entirely, but in general language that everybody understands, it is 23 base 10. So all the figures that were in different platforms initially have been converted to similar platform. So based on this, we can now come up here and apply them one after the other. 102 base 3 is the same thing as 11. 102 base 3 is the same thing as 11. So we have 11 base 11 base 3, 11 base 10. Then plus 10 base y is the same thing as y. Plus which is equal to 43 base 5. 43 base 5 is the same thing as 23. All are now in base 10. They can now interact as one big family. The language spoken by this will be understood by this, and the one speaking by this will be understood by this, because all of them are now the same base, which is base 10. So I can collect like terms here, collect the like term. That means I'm going to have y will be equal to 23 minus 11. This 11 will be taken to the other side and sign changes to minus. So we now have this from this. It gives us 12. Y is going to be equal to 12. So find the value of y. The most appropriate option here, option A wrong, option B wrong, C is the most appropriate option. I want to believe it's very clear to everybody. Now, this is example 2. This is also one of the past question, WAEC past question. The question says, if square root of 2 plus square root of 3 all over square root of 3 is equal to p plus q root 6, find the value of brackets open p plus q. This question comes under a topic called solved. Solved is an aspect of mathematics that implies representation of figure in a square root pattern. Representation of figure involving square root. Now, for us to solve this type of problem, first and foremost, it is highly prohibited mathematically to present denominator in short form like this. Whenever you are having a number and the denominator is in square root form or in short form, it is forbidden mathematically. So what are we going to do to remove this square root? There is a principle called rationalization principle. Rationalization principle or method. Rationalization method. That rationalization method, we use it mostly to eliminate that square root that is at the denominator. We remove this, then we have ordinary figure without the square root, because it is forbidden in mathematics to have square root as denominator like this. So the method we are going to use to eliminate the square root is rationalization method. Now let's see how we can adopt it. We are going to have root 2 plus root 3 all over root 3. If I multiply this one by 1 all over 1, I've not done anything different. It's still the way it is. If I multiply this one by 2 all over 2, I've not made any difference. It's still the way it is. The reason is because these two can cancel these two. Then it becomes 1, which is exactly the way it is. If I use this, if I multiply this one by 3, I multiply this one by 3, okay, it's still the same thing. I've not done anything different. This one can still cancel this one, then back to the square one. But if I decide to multiply this, multiply this by root 3, then all over root 3. I've not done anything different because root 3 can still cancel root 3. But I decided to make use of root 3 so that this square root can cancel this square root. Somebody said, where did I see root 3? Root 3 comes from the denominator. What I have here as denominator is what I'm going to repeat for both numerator and denominator. And when I cancel this one, it gives me 1. So it is as if I've not done anything different. But let us see how it goes. I will now use this root 3 to times root 2. It's like using this as a key to open this room. There is a room here. You use this as an appropriate key to open the room, have access to the first term and the second term. So let's see how it goes. This is root 3 multiplied by root 2. Root 3 times root 2, it gives us root 6. Root 6. Then plus root 3 again times root 3. It will give us root 9. Then root 3 here times root 3, it will give us root 9. Square root of 9 means 3. Square root of 9 means 3. Here we have root 6 plus root 3 all over 3. This one is going to be the same thing as 3 plus root 6 all over 3. That means this one now can be represented as 3 all over 3 plus root 6 all over 3. When this one cancels this one, you have 1. So in the final analysis, you have 1 plus 1 all over 3 root 6. So we have been able to finally solve this problem. But look at the question we're given. We are asked to present this one in this form, and we have done so. This is what we've done. That means that in place of P, here there is 1. Then in place of this plus, there is plus. Then in place of this Q, there is 1/3. Then root 6 is now here. So we have finally been able to present this number in this pattern. So, but what we are asked to do now is to find the value of P plus Q. Here, 1 is P and Q is 1/3. We are going to add P plus Q. P plus Q, which means 1 plus 1/3, and that gives us one whole number 1/3. So let us check the correct option. A, wrong. B, this is the most appropriate option. I believe it's very clear to everybody. Yes, we proceed now to example 3. This is example 3. This is also WAEC past question. The question says an amount of 230,000 is 0 kobo was realized when a principal Y was saved at 5% problem. We are going to say amount is going to be equal to the principal plus the interest. The principal is the amount saved initially, while the interest is the gain that accrued in the process of time. So that is to say that interest now can be the same thing as amount minus principal. And what is the amount? Amount is 230,000 naira. And what is the principal? The principal is used to represent Y. So this one stands for equation 1. So interest is equal to 230,000 minus Y. There is also another formula called simple interest. Simple interest I being equal to the principal times rate times time all over 100. This is another formula of simple interest. The first formula of simple interest is this. This is the second one. And this one says that principal is the same thing as Y. Rate is the percentage increase that money yield after every year. So in this case, the percentage increase is 5. R is 5. And for how long? 3 years divided by 100. So this one now becomes 15y all over 100. So this is equation 2. Equation 1 form this, equation 2 form this. When we combine both equations, that is combining 1 and 2, combining equation 1 and 2, we're going to have 230,000 minus y is equal to 15. 15y all over 100. I can now collect like terms from here. Transfer this minus y to the other side. It becomes 230,000 is equal to 15y all over 100 plus y. So if we go on here, 15y over 100 plus y, this is over 1. So if I find the SCM of this and this, if I find the SCM of this and this, the SCM is going to give me, the SCM of 101 is going to be 100. The SCM is going to be 100. I can say 100 goes in 100. Here, it will be 1. 1 times 15, that is 15 1. Then plus 1 goes in 100, that is 100. 100 times y, it gives me 100 y. 1 in 100, that is 100. 100 times y, it gives me 100 y. And this one goes this way. So which is equal to 230,000. Here again, I can do what we call cross multiply. When I do cross multiply, I'm going to have 230,000 times 100, which is going to be equal to 15. 15y plus this, it gives me 115y. So when we divide both sides in an attempt to get y, when we say divide both sides by 115, that is y will now be equal to this one divided by 115. That is dividing both sides by 115. This one will be 115, and y this one will also be 115. So this one cancel this one, that is 1. If I use this one to cancel this one, definitely I'm going to get 200,000. 200,000. That means the principal, which is y, that they said I should look for, the principal is now 200,000. So which of the option is most appropriate? Option B is the most appropriate. I want to believe it's very clear to everybody. That is good. So we'll proceed quickly to number 4. This is number 4 example. The question says, if L is equal to 2 and M is equal to minus 3, evaluate 3 into bracket L square minus M raised to power 3 bracket close. This is an example of substitution of algebraic expression, and it is WAEC past question. What is algebraic expression? Algebraic expression is an aspect of mathematics that deals with addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of both number and variable. 3 here is the constant, while L and M raised to power 3, L raised to power 2 are the variable. So let us see how we can go about solving this type of problems. Now, since it is substitution, we are going to say 3 into bracket L raised to power 2 minus M raised to power 3. So we are going to have 3 into bracket, in place of L square, we are going to put 2. That means it becomes 2 raised to power 2 minus, in place of M, we are to put minus 3. Minus 3 raised to power of 3. Now we have 3 into 2 raised to power 2 is 4 minus 3 raised to power 3 implies minus 3 times minus 3 times minus 3 in 3 places. Minus 3 times minus 3 times minus 3 in 3 places. That is minus 3 raised to power 3. And if you do it, minus times minus times minus, minus times minus is plus. Plus times minus, it gives us minus. So we have minus 3. Minus 3. This is minus 3 raised to power of 3. And that gives us minus 27. Minus 27. This is minus 3 minus 27. we have 4 minus bracket minus 27. Minus times minus gives us plus. Minus times minus gives us plus, and that we have 4 plus 27. 4 plus 27. The reason is because minus 3 raised to the power of 3 gives us minus 27. Then this minus times minus, it gives us plus. So we have 3 into 4 plus this, it will give us 31. And when we say 31 multiplied by 3 gives us 93. So this is the solution to this problem. Now, which of the option now is correct? The most appropriate option is option C. I believe it's very clear to everybody. That's good. So we proceed to number 5. This is number 5 question, and it is also WAEC past question. The question says solve 2p minus q is equal to 5 and 3p plus 2q is equal to 4 simultaneously. And here are the options. This is also an example of simultaneous equation in algebraic expression. We've said that algebraic expression has to do with addition, subtraction, multiplication and division of both number and constant and variables. The number are stated here and the variable are equally stated. But in simultaneous equation, there are 2 unknown that we have to look for their value at the same time. So here is letter P unknown, letter Q unknown. P and Q, they are unknown, and we are to look for their value at the same time. That is the meaning of simultaneous equation. So how do we go about solving this problem? We are going to have 2p minus q is equal to 5 and 3p plus 2q is equal to 4. There are different methods we can approach. We can adopt here. We can use elimination method. We can equally use substitution method. But let's try to use elimination method. In elimination method, the coefficient of any of the unknown term is going to be made uniform. That is to say, this p, the coefficient of p here is 2, the coefficient of p here is 3. We are going to make sure that their coefficient become uniform, they become the same. If I want the coefficient of p here and the coefficient of p here to be the same, I will use these 3 to multiply equation 1. This is equation 1. And this one is equation 2. I'm going to use these 3 in equation 2 to multiply equation 1. That is 3 times this. Then I'm going to use this 2, which is the coefficient of p here, to multiply equation 2. And that is 2 here. In that, we are going to have 3 times 2p, it gives us 6p. 3 times q, it gives us minus 3q. And 3 times 5, that is 15. This is equation 3 now. Then we have 2 times 3p, it gives us 6p. Plus 2 times 2q, it gives us 4q. Then we have 2 times 4, we have 8. This is equation 4. You can now see that the coefficient of p here and the coefficient of p here is now the same, and that is where we are heading to. Now, the process of elimination begins at this point. Now that their coefficient is the same, we can decide and look at equation 3, look at equation 1. Which one do you think is bigger? This equation 3, which one do you think is bigger? Equation 3 or equation 4? So we are going to subtract one of the equation from the other one in order to eliminate this particular coefficient, this expression here, this term and this term that is having the same coefficient. How do we eliminate? We use subtraction. Say subtract equation 4 from equation 3. Subtract equation 4 from 3. Subtract equation 4 from 3. That means 6p minus 6p. 6p minus 6p. That is 0. 6p minus 6p is 0. So this one is eliminated already. This one is eliminated. Then we are left with this one. So this one is saying minus 3q minus plus 4q. Here is minus 3q minus plus 4q. You know, we have to subtract equation 4 from equation 3. That subtract, that is what is here, this minus. The initial minus possessed by the term, by this term, is still here, while the plus possessed by this particular term is now here. The subtraction is placed here. So we are going to say minus times plus. Minus times plus. When minus and plus, when they fight. So we have minus 3q minus 4q. And that is going to result to, this one now means I am owing 3q. I'm owing somebody 3q. I'm still owing another person 4q. So altogether, the total amount of money I'm owing is going to be minus 7q. I have to put minus there to indicate that that is the amount of money I am owing. Minus 3 minus 4 give us minus 7q. So that is the result here now. Since we are subtracting equation 4 from equation 3, the result is going to be minus 7q. Then 15 minus 8, it gives us 7. So looking at this point, we want to find the value of q. How do you get the value of q? We divide both sides by minus 7, because it is the minus 7 that is disturbing q from being able to stand alone. We'll have been able to know the exact value of q here, but because of this minus 7 is preventing us. So we are going to divide both sides, eliminate 7 from here, so that q can be left alone. Divide both sides by 7, by minus 7. We have minus 7q all over minus 7 is equal to 7 all over minus 7. So this minus cancel this minus, 7 cancel 7. So we are left with only q. Then we have this one, 7 divided by this, that is, this is plus. Plus divided by minus, it is that minus fighting against plus, or plus fighting against minus. Minus is a very strong animal, just like lion. When it's fighting with plus, it must kill, it will, one hand, it will deal with plus. So here we're going to have minus, because minus will win. 7 cancel 7, that is 1. So the result here, q, the value of q we are looking for is already minus 1. So let's try to now look for the value of p. We are looking for the value of p and q at the same time. So we say substitute minus 1 for q in equation 1. We can use any of the equation that we prefer. We can use equation 1, we can use 2, 3, or 4 to get the value, to substitute the value of q. And from there, we now get the value of p. Equation 1 is this, and that is what is written here. So we say 2p minus q is equal to 5. This is equation 1. In place of q, we put minus 1. So here is going to be 2p minus bracket minus 1 is equal to 5. We are substituting q in place of, we are substituting minus 1 in place of q. Minus times minus is plus. So we have 2p plus 1 is equal to 5. Taking this one to the other side, the sign changes to minus. So we have 2p. 2p is going to be equal to 5 minus 1, and that is 4. For us to get the value of p, we now divide both sides by 2. We divide both sides by 2. So we have 2p divided by 2, which is now 4 divided by 2. So the final answer is going to be equal to, p will now be equal to 2. P will be equal to 2 because 2 here, 2 here, 2. P is equal to 2. So that is to say, therefore, P is equal to 2 and Q is equal to minus 1. Q is minus 1, P is equal to 2. So which of the option is most appropriate? P is equal to 2, P is equal to 2, while Q is equal to minus 1. So the most appropriate option is option D. Option D is the most appropriate option. I want to believe it's very clear to everybody. That is very good. So I want to quickly give us an assignment. And this assignment should be submitted to the comment section. By the time I visit the comment section, I'm going to mark it and eventually send the results. But always remember to subscribe into this channel. It is very, very important. We have 3 assignments here. This is number 1. Given that 210 base 4 minus 20 base x is equal to 52 base 6, find the value of x. Here are the options. Choose the appropriate option and forward it to the comment section. Now, number 2. An amount of 560,000 naira was realized when a principal x was saved at 3% simple interest for 4 years. Find the value of x. Here are the options as well. Option A, 400,000 naira. Option B, 300,000 naira. Option C, 500,000 naira. Option D, 200,000 naira. So, after solving, the appropriate option should be forwarded to the comment section. Now we have number 3. If root 5 minus root 2 divided by root 5 is equal to x minus 5 minus y root 10, find the value of x plus y. Here are the options as well. So choose the appropriate option and forward it to the comment section. Now, the class has come to a close for today. Until we meet again in the next class.